Hello, welcome back. Pig here, and we're back after I want to say a few months. Um, and today we are going to be doing the Random Contact Hunger Games. And I wanted to do this I wanted to do this 2 years ago, but that didn't work because when I tried to record it, there was no audio. The audio just stopped working randomly. And so first we're going to have a look through the contestants. First, in District 1, we have Dr. Philip Andrew. Dr. Philip Andrew is from a Play-Doh game. And I added him to my contact list when I was 8, and I didn't know how it worked. That's going to be a theme for a lot of these contacts. And his brother, Dr. Drill and Phil, also from the same Play-Doh toy. They are going to be practicing their dentistry in this Hunger Games. Then we have my helper, and to be honest, I have no idea why I have this person in my contacts. I don't even know what it was for. Next, we have Do the Flop Guy from the popular Astuff movie web series. Do the Flop Guy is going to try not to kill as many people as before. Next, we have Yuriao Jamai. And I don't even know what he is, but he's gonna do stuff. Next, we have Find Lala. And Lala is going to find that they will hopefully do good. Next, we have Little Apple from the Annoying Orange series. Next, we have Diddle Daddle. Another contact that I made when I was 8 and bored. Next, we have Udovic Ernick. And I don't even know most of these guys. I know their profiles. Next we have Yitfe, and the sheep that is on their profile picture, they will be eating through the competition like it's grass. Next we have Mr. Nobody, very sad. And then we have the Newt, star of Meep Life Season 2. And then in District 4, we have Random Person. I don't have anything to say for that. Next we have I Hate You, Rund Erg Tuggle. This is one that I made pretty early, and I like it. There's a few of these that are iconic. Next we have Pabagatalana. This is when I realized that you could add suffixes and prefixes to names, and then I just went crazy with it. Next, we have Future Person, who's no longer a future person. With a year and a half under their belt, they will surely do better than they did last time. Next, we have And is an actor. Next, we have Artillin, who was the crowning champion of Season 1. He won Season 1, and you couldn't see it because I lost the footage and the microphone didn't work. Next we have High, known for being on my first notes thing. Next we have No Name. I just thought it was funny that contacts could have no name. And in District 6, we have Fred123, now King Fred123. Next we have Lama G. Despite being dead, Lama G will reign on the battlefield. Next we have Frederick McMurphy from the hit TV show that never existed outside of my mind, Frederick's House. Next we have Bacon Bot from one Rhett and Link thing. And then in District 7 we have Jesus Christ. Jesus, Son of God, will surely be will surely be praising the Lord, who's his dad and also him. He'll be doing stuff. Next we have Joseph the Walrus, who is one of the newer contestants. Next we have Pig Easy, my first Roblox account. Next we have Snig Agglefiggy. Snig, I don't even know. Someone I don't know. I don't know. Next, we have Meep2, Vice President of Moosh Moosh World, and the main Meep. Next, we have Meep1, brother of Meep2, and Meep0, wife of Meep2. In District 9, we have New Home Phone. New Home Phone is going to avenge her mother in the Random Contact Hunger Games. Next we have Jimothy Nugget Bucket, the best walrus alive. Jimothy will surely be hitting all the opponents with his tusks. Next we have Notch, creator of Minecraft. He's not going to say any more transphobic things, and he is going to kill a bunch of people. Next, we have Home Phone, New Home Phone's mother, who's dead. In District 10, we have some new faces. Larry Herbert McPrinter Sr., who sadly passed away recently. Rehog, who is from the last season. Larry Herbert McPrinter Jr., who's right next to me. Larry Herbert McPrinter Jr. will surely be a role model for all other printers. Next, we have Buttsville. Next, we have, in District 10, we have Bartholomew Rumpleton, another newcomer. Bartholomew Rumpleton is not born yet. Next, we have Blue Villager, the villager from the Christmas 2016 pack, who wasn't even blue. Next, we have King Knur, the 17th. King Knur the 17th, the reigning monarch of Agglefiggy, and will surely torture everyone. Next we have Birdie, the famed bird who died and then was reincarnated. Truly a great person to rep District 11. In District 12, we have Smiley Face. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. We have the police, which probably didn't age very well. You, whatever your last name is, and who's going to steal the show like he steals everyone's identity. And then we have, finally, the name's Joe Leonardson. Now, it's finally time to proceed. As a tribute stand on the podium, the horn sounds. Find Lala runs away from the cornucopia. Jimothy Nugget Bucket runs into the cornucopia and hides. The name's Joe Leonardson runs away from the cornucopia. Random Person runs away from the cornucopia. Joseph the Walrus runs away from the cornucopia. Anne runs away from the cornucopia. Ludovic Ernick runs away from the cornucopia. I Hate You Runder Tuggle gathers as much food as he can. Little Apple grabs a shield leaning on the cornucopia. Llama G stays at the cornucopia for resources. New Home Phone runs away from the cornucopia. Smiley Face runs away from the cornucopia. Pubagatalana, Mr. Nobody, and Snig work together to get as many supplies as possible. Jesus Christ finds a bag full of explosives. Blue Villager runs away from the cornucopia. Meep0 runs away from the cornucopia. Notch runs away from the cornucopia. Home phone finds a canteen full of water. Someone I don't know runs away from the cornucopia. Pig-I-A Easy runs away from the cornucopia. Dr. Drillin' Phil runs away from the cornucopia. Fred 123 grabs a jar of fishing bait while Artilnilin gets fishing gear. Bartholomew Rumpleton runs away from the cornucopia. My helper shoots an arrow into Police 911's head. First blood. Police. The police is gone. King Canur the 17th runs away from the cornucopia. No Name runs away from the cornucopia. Larry Herbert McPrinter Jr. runs away from the cornucopia. Urehog stays at the cornucopia for resources. Yitfe runs away from the cornucopia. Meep1 runs away from the cornucopia. Birdie runs away from the cornucopia. Yurtiaumpum Jamay runs away from the cornucopia. Dr. Philip Andrew runs away from the cornucopia. High runs away from the cornucopia. Bacon Bot runs away from the cornucopia. Future Person, Larry McHerbert Sr., Frederick McEarthy, and you whatever your last name is, share everything they gathered before running. Buttville retrieves a trident from the cornucopia. Diddle Daddle runs away from the cornucopia. Meep 2 runs away from the cornucopia. The Newt runs away from the cornucopia. And Do the Flop Guy runs away from the cornucopia. King Canur the 17th injures himself. Snig receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Smiley Face kills Larry Herbert McPrinter Jr. while she's resting. Home phone chases Udovic Ernick. It's supposed to say while he's resting. Larry Herbert McPrinter Sr. fishes. Dr. Philip Andrews chases Yitfe. Yurtiaumpum Jamay receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Frederick McEarthy tries to spearfish with a trident. My helper explores the area. Someone I don't know severely injures find Lala but puts her out of her misery. R.I.P. You whatever your last name is discovers a river. Blue Villager and Dr. Drillin' Phil hunt for other tributes. Buttsville searches for a water source. Lamaji kills Denames Joe Leonardson with the sickle. New home phone travels to higher ground. Meep Zero spears I Hate You Rund Erg Tuggle in the abdomen. Fred 123 dies trying to escape from the cornucopia. Diddle Daddle makes a slingshot. Jesus Christ camouflages himself in the bushes. No Name goes hunting. Jimothy Nuggetbucket steals from Pig-I-A Easy while he isn't looking. Bartholomew Rumpleton steals from Urehog while he isn't looking. Notch makes a slingshot. Pabagatalana discovers a cave. Meep 2 receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Meep 1 receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Future Person's life tries to sleep through the entire day. Mr. Nobody thinks about home. Bacon Bot receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Birdie constructs a sack. Artinilin and Random Person and Little Apple hunt for troops. Joseph the Walrus kills High with his own weapon. Do the Flop Guy runs away from the Newt. 7 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Police 911, Larry Herbert McPrinter Jr., Find Lala, Denames Joe Leonardson, I Hate You Rund Erg Tuggle, Fred 123, and High. This is the stats so far. You can pause it if you want to see it. Proceed. Dr. Drillin' Phil quietly hums. Jesus Christ attempts to start a fire, but is unsuccessful. Little Apple sees the fire, but stays hidden. Dr. Philip Andrill receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Udovic Ernick tends to Birdie's wounds. Bartholomew Rumpleton, Snig, and Future Person get into a fight. Snig triumphantly kills them both. Meep 1 cries himself to sleep. Larry Herbert McPrinter Sr. thinks about home. Yurdiaopum Jime is awoken by nightmares. The Newt, No Name, and Home Phone discuss the games and what might happen in the morning. New Home Phone is awoken by nightmares. P.I. Easy sets up a camp for the night and is awoken by nightmares. Random Person and Bacon Bot sleep in shifts. Meep 2 lets Artanilin into his shelter. Pubagatalana sets up camp for the night. Meep 0, Joseph the Walrus, and Buttsville cheerfully sing songs together. Hugh Rahog thinks about winning. Notch passes out from exhaustion. Smiley Face severely injures someone I don't know and leaves him to die. Frederick McMurphy and Jimothy Nugget Bucket sleep in shifts. King Canur XVII begs Mr. Nobody to kill him. He refuses, keeping King Canur XVII alive. Do the Flop Guy, Diddle Daddle, Lama G, and My Helper sleep in shifts. Blue Villager thinks about home. You, whatever your last name is, defeats Yitfa in a fight but spares his life. Day 2. And you, Rahog, Artanilin, and whatever your last name is, hunt for troops. The Newt runs away from King Canur XVII. Buttsville and Home Phone hunt for other troops. Meep 2 stalks Yitfa. No Name dies from thirst. Yurtiaupum Jime dies from an infection. Oh, that's two of my favorites died just so anticlimactically. Notch is unable to convince Little Apple not to kill him. Meep 1 tries to spearfish with a trident. Pubagatalana makes a wooden spear. Do the Flop Guy injures himself. Jesus Christ tries to sleep through the entire day. Lama G thinks about home. Random Person tries to sleep through the entire day. Diddle Daddle and Larry Herbert McPrinter Sr. work together for the day. Birdie chases New Home Phone. Jimothy Nugget Bucket picks flowers. My Helper and Dr. Philip Andrill split up to search for resources. Dr. Drillenfels tends to Joseph the Walrus's wounds. Blue Villager explores the area. Smiley Face shoots an arrow into Mr. Nobody's head. Snake constructs a shack. Bacon Bot questions his sanity. Meep 0, Pig Eye Easy, Udovic Ernick, and Frederick McMurphy hunt for other troops. 7 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Bartholomew Rumpleton, Future Person, Someone I Don't Know, No Name, Yurtiapum, Jame, Notch, and Mr. Nobody. Here's the stats, in case you want to pause and look at it. Proceed. King Canur XVII is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. My Helper tries to sing himself to sleep. You, whatever your last name is awoken all night. Stays awake all night. Dr. Drillenfel is awoken by nightmares. Pig Eye Easy receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Udovic Ernick tries to sing himself to sleep. Lama G, Diddle Daddle, Hog, and New Home Phone sleep in shifts. Buttsville attempts to climb a tree but falls on Birdie, killing them both. Home Phone cooks her food before putting her fire out. Do the Flop Guy questions his sanity. Joseph the Walrus and Yitfa talk about the tributes that are still alive. Dr. Philip Andrill receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Jesus Christ sets off an explosive, killing Larry Herbert McPrinter Sr., Meep 1, and Jimothy Nugget Bucket. Meep 2 thinks about winning. Frederick McMurphy starts a fire. Blue Villager, Artanilin, Random Person, and Anne sleep in shifts. Meep 0 and Bacon Bot sleep in shifts. Pubagatalana cries himself to sleep. Snig sets up a fire for the night. The Newt and Smiley Face talk about the tributes that are still alive. The Little Apple cannot handle the circumstances and commits suicide. Urahog thinks about home. Frederick McGurphy camouflages himself in the bushes. Smiley Face discovers a cave. Artanillin tends to King Canard XVII's wounds. Joseph the Walrus discovers a river. Baconbot fishes. The Newt injures himself. Meep Zero makes a slingshot and overhears Pig-Eye Easy and Dr. Philip Andrill talking in the distance. Blue Villager collects fruit from a tree. Home Phone constructs a shack. Snig injures himself. Lamagie receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. New Home Phone searches for a water source. Meep 2 overhears Pabagalana and you whatever your last name is talking in the distance. My helper tries to sleep through the entire day. Do the Flock Guy stalks Ludovic Ernick. Diddle Daddle begs for a random person to kill him. He refuses, keeping Diddle Daddle alive. Dr. Drill and Phil repeatedly stabs Yitfa to death with thighs. And Jesus Christ searches for firewood. 7 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Buttsville, Birdie, Larry Herbert McPrinter Sr., Meep 1, Timothy Nugget Bucket, Little Apple, and Yitfa. See everyone's stats, and here's everyone who's alive. And the only OGs that are around are Ludovic Ernick and Artanillin. And that's it. All the other ones are dead. Oh, and you, whatever your last name is. All the other ones are dead. Proceed. Snig goes to sleep. My helper, you, whatever your last name is, and you, Rahog, sleep in shifts. Baconbot quietly hums. Random person begs Lamagie to kill him. She refuses, keeping random person alive. Frederick McGurphy received fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Smiley Face and Pabagalana hold hands. Ludovic Ernick cooks his food before putting his fire out. Jesus Christ, Meep 2, Dr. Drill and Phil, and Home Phone tell each other ghost stories to lighten the mood. The Newt is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. Blue Villager destroys Meep Zero's supplies while she's asleep. Joseph the Walrus goes to sleep. Do the Flop Guy and Dr. Philip Andrill talk to themselves about stories for each other and dies from thirst. Diddle Daddle receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. King Canary XVII sees a fire but stays hidden. New Home Phone lets Artanillin into her shelter. Pig-Eye Easy is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. My helper is pricked from thorns while picking berries. Dr. Philip Andrill receives explosive from an unknown sponsor. Pabagalana tries to sleep through the entire day. Lamagie, Urahog, and Frederick McGurphy hunt for other tributes. King Canary XVII receives fresh food from clean water from an unknown sponsor. Random person diverts Snig's attention and runs away. New Home Phone defeats Blue Villager in a fight but spares his life. Artanillin discovers a river. Meep 2 receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. The Newt, Joseph the Walrus, you whatever your last name is, Ludovic Ernick, and Home Phones hunt for other tributes. Baconbot, Jesus Christ, Meep Zero, and Diddle Daddle raids Pig-Eye Easy's camp while he is hunting. Do the Flop Guy hunts for other tributes. Dr. Drill and Phil travels to higher ground. Smiley Face receives explosive from an unknown sponsor. 1 cannon shot can be heard in the distance. And this is the stats. Proceed. Urahog and My Helper tell stories about themselves to each other. Baconbot receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Smiley Face, Meep 2, Artanillin, and Diddle Daddle sleep in shifts. Pig-Eye Easy tries to treat his infection. Pabagatalana forces Jesus Christ to kill Do the Flop Guy or Blue Villager. He decides to kill Do the Flop Guy. King Canur XVII is awoken by nightmares. Frederick McMurphy sees a fire but stays hidden. Ludovic Ernick receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Random person tries to sing himself to sleep. The Newt, Dr. Philip Andrill, you whatever your last name is, Lama G, and Justice the Walrus sleep in shifts. Beef Zero passes out from exhaustion. Home Phone thinks about winning. Dr. Drill and Phil receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. New Home Phone receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Frederick McMurphy scares random person off. Pabagatalana explores the arena. Diddle Daddle cannot handle the circumstances and commits suicide. Smiley Face receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Meep Zero collects fruit from a tree. You whatever your last name is fishes. Jesus Christ tends to Home Phone's wounds. You Red Hog bashes Dr. Drill and Phil's head in with a rock several times. Bacon Bot makes a wooden spear. Ludovic Ernick thinks about home. Dr. Philip Andrill tries to sleep through the entire day. Joseph the Walrus camouflages himself in the bushes. My Helper defeats Artanillan in a fight but spares his life. Blue Villager stabs Pig Eye Easy with a tree branch. Meep 2 injures himself. King Canur XVII diverts Home Phone's attention and runs away. Lama G thinks about home. Snig constructs a shack, and the Newt searches for a water source. 4 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Do the Flop Guy, Diddle Daddle, Dr. Drill and Phil, and Pig Eye Easy. Here's the stats. Proceed. Home Phone destroys King Canur XVII's supplies while he is asleep. Frederick McMurphy and Blue Villager talk about the tribute still alive. Meep 2 receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Artanillan decapitates Ludovic Ernick with a sword. That's one of my favorites, killing another of my favorites. Joseph the Walrus sets an explosive off, killing Dr. Drill and Phil, Meep Zero, New Home Phone, and Llama G. Smiley Face sees a fire but stays hidden. Random person traps kills Jesus. Bacon Bot thinks about home. Pabagatalana bleeds out due to untreated injuries. The Newt lets My Helper into his shelter. You whatever last name is cries himself to sleep. You Red Hog catches Snig off guard and kills him. The Feast. The cornucopia is replenished with supplies, weapons, and memoirs from the tribute's families. You whatever your last name is decides not to go to the feast. Home Phone and Blue Villager get in a fight over raw meat. Home Phone gives up and runs away. King Canur XVII decides not to go to the feast. Smiley Face falls in a pit and dies. You Red Hog decides not to go to the feast. Artanillan snaps Meep 2's neck. My Helper decides not to go to the feast. Joseph the Walrus decides not to go to the feast. Frederick McMurphy decides not to go to the feast. Random person decides not to go to the feast. The Newt decides not to go to the feast. And Bacon Bot decides not to go to the feast. My Home Phone explores the area. My Helper constructs a shack. Blue Villager camouflages himself in the bushes. You Red Hog stalks Artanillan. Random person accidentally steps on a landmine. Bacon Bot constructs a shelter. Frederick McMurphy sets an explosive off, killing Joseph the Walrus. King Canur XVII taints the Newt's food, killing him. You whatever your last name is receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. 13 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Ludovic Ernick, Dr. Philip Andrill, Meep Zero, New Home Phone, Lam G, Jesus Christ, Pabagatalana, Snig, Smiley Face, Meep 2, Random person, Joseph the Walrus, and the Newt. Here is the stats. Proceed. Frederick McMurphy stays away all night. Home phone shoots an arrow into Artanilan's head, and just like that, the leader of the winner of season 1 is dead. You whatever your last name is, in King Canur the 17th, sleep in shifts. Bacon Bot poisons my helper's drink. He drinks it and dies. Blue Villager is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. You Red Hog starts a fire. You whatever your last name is, Blue Villager, Bacon Bot, and Frederick McMurphy hunts for troops. Home phone makes a slingshot, and you Red Hog tends to King Canur the 17th's wounds. 2 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Artanilan and my helper. Here are the stats. None of the originals are alive now. Back to fallen tributes. Proceed. You Red Hog shoots a poisonous bow into Blue Villager's neck, slowly killing him. You whatever your last name is lets home phone into his shelter. King Canur the 17th and Bacon Bot talk about the tribute still alive, and Frederick McMurphy cries himself to sleep. You Red Hog searches for firewood. You whatever your last name is falls into a frozen lake and drowns. King Canur the 17th, Frederick McMurphy, and Home Phone hunt for other tributes. Bacon Bot collects food from a tree. Carnivorous squirrels start attacking the tributes. Frederick McMurphy survives. Home Phone is brutally attacked by a scurry of squirrels. Bacon Bot survives. You Red Hog tries to kill as many squirrels as he can, but there are too many. King Canur the 17th survives. 4 cannon shots can be heard in the distance. Blue Villager, you whatever your last name is, Home Phone, and you Red Hog. Here are the stats. Proceed. Bacon Bot thinks about home. Frederick McMurphy goes to sleep. King Canur the 17th tries to treat his infection. Bacon Bot kills Frederick McMurphy with a sickle, and King Canur the 17th dies from hunger. This means 2 cannon shots can be heard from the distance. Frederick McMurphy, King Canur the 17th, and the winner is Bacon Bot. That was kind of unexpected. I didn't expect Bacon Bot to do that good, considering it's just a gag from a Rhett and Link joke. Here are the placements. Pause it if you want to. Proceed. And here is the entire script. And here are all of the placements and the statistics. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was definitely unexpected. I will see you later.